Well, Kittitas Valley Sports Talk fans, welcome back to another episode of your Kittitas Valley Sports Talk show. I am Eric Sorensen. Have a little tunes going, fellas. We're getting a little more advanced here, huh?
That's right. I'm enjoying the music, mixing it up a little bit, and that song kind of just, that intro just kind of matches my attitude.
That's absolutely correct. If you're wondering who that is Austin Jenks. He's a guy that's local, not local, he's from the west side, but he's Washington feller. We got to use his music for our podcast. This is exciting. We're getting bigger.
That's right.
Exciting things,
new
man.
Headphones too.
We got some. Yeah, if you're watching on the stream, we got some new headphones going on.
We're pretty much the big time now.
We are there, close.
And you know what? I'm going to speak up for me and Luke because we got so excited about the music.
Right.
You introduce yourself as Eric Sorensen.
Sorry, left you guys hanging.
I mean,
Joined
it's all about John Goodat.
And Luke Olson.
Right. There you go.
Sorry, fellas. That's my fault.
Sorry, let me pat myself on the back.
That's right. Well, we got episode... Oh, we're on 14 now.
14.
Who's number 14?
Episode 14.
That was on my to-do list.
What jersey
today.
can we honor for episode 14? I'm going to pull it up here on the old World Wide Web.
As much as you like farming in the winter and there's not much going on, I've been pretty busy this week, so I forgot to do that. I'm not gonna. There's not going to be the organization today. We're going to wing it and just prove that we have skills and how this is going to go. I love it.
I don't have a famous
Bobo Brayton number
jersey
14.
number for number 14 would have to be. Would it be Otto Graham?
Yeah, that works.
Y.A. Tittle. Y.A. Tittle was a quarterback for the New York Giants, if I believe, in the 50s.
Okay.
Maybe 60s as well.
I got one for
Dan
you.
Fouts. Dan
Fouts.
Okay.
Hall of Famer, field's named after him, Bobo Brayton, the baseball
I am
coach.
familiar with that
Yes.
name.
Yeah. Local guy Joe Schomer actually played for
Did he really?
Bobo. Yeah. That's exciting news. So let's talk. There's some exciting things were happening this weekend here in Ellensburg. I put a post out on the old Facebook about what are you doing Saturday night or Sunday night, I guess it was. And it was, are you going to be watching the Seahawks game, watching the rodeo, or are you going to be at Santa Hoops Classic? I did all three. I'm not going to lie to you.
You're gonna
on Sunday?
On Sunday, yeah.
And the Zags played the Huskies as
Yes,
well.
Yeah, I missed that game, unfortunately. I couldn't pull off the 4 Stratton games.
You were able to pull it all off, though, the 3.
The 3. I made it happen. Thank you to DVR.
Yeah.
Got to watch my niece, Hadley Hansen, play. They played in, I should know what age group bracket it is, but I don't off the top of my head. They won the championship on their age bracket, which was great. We ran home. I was so pumped to get to watch the Seahawks, and then, bam, the Seahawks played. And that kind of ruined things that night. That was a little frustrating, wasn't it?
That was a frustrating game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even tweet. That's how mad I was.
You were an angry kid that night.
Yeah.
Kid, you're an adult. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was terrible. That was hard to watch. We all kind of. I listened to last week's podcast. I don't want to know if we predict the future, but we did say it's kind of a trap game coming up.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually okay with that because I watched the Zags pull one out at what is it? Heck Ed.
Right.
Watched the Zags and Huskies play. Toggled over to Sunday Night Football. Got disappointed there, but then went back to the NFR and watched a little NFR on Sunday. So Sunday was a packed day for sports. I did not see the Santa Hoops Classic,
Right.
though.
That was cool. I saw some loyal listeners there. We got some looks around. There's some people that listen to the episode.
Yep.
And I got to sit and watch the game with local Josh Cox, who has a Would You Rather question later on today. But, it was just fun. There's lots of local teams. I saw a lot of Cleon Warrior jerseys running around, a bunch of Kittitas Coyotes and some Bulldog ones. I know that the court over the older team was the Ellensburg Kittitas matchup in what would be the championship game. I think Ellensburg won that one. I'm not sure. I left because I had to run home and watch the Seahawks disappoint me. So,
of course, me. Yeah.
So that was nice. But we're going to talk a little bit more rodeo later on, but it's kind of been fun. I don't know what we're going to do Sunday night because last time I checked, the rodeo ends on Saturday.
Saturday night, it's going to be, we got 3 more rounds to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're recording this on a Thursday afternoon, so we got tonight, Friday, and then Saturday's final round, and then of course the big average paycheck. So it's been fun to watch. We'll talk about it a little bit more here in our McGregor section of the podcast.
Absolutely.
So,
well,
it's been a fun NFR. Yeah,
it's been awesome. We do talk about McGregor Company. We got to talk about Fitterers Furniture, our other sponsor that sponsors the whole podcast. And I talked to Coach Amanda today, who's the marketing department there, and they still are doing the Nutcracker. Find a Nutcracker, get a gift certificate. So get yourself to Fitterers, find yourself some nice piece of furniture, and hopefully there's a Nutcracker nearby, and you get yourself free coffee.
That's right.
If you're listening to this within the next 2 hours, there is, I believe tonight downtown Ellensburg is is it Women's Night and
Girls Night
Out?
Yes.
And it sounds like they're running a special tonight at that for the Girls Night Out.
So I actually, my 9-to-5 job there, I work downtown in Ellensburg, and so just leaving work.
Home loan?
What's that?
You work for Umpqua?
Umpqua Bank Home
Just want to throw it out there.
Right.
I had to do it for you.
So when I was leaving work to come to Big Country Studios, you can see the storefronts are, it's a fun time. My wife would actually be there tonight, had her husband, me, not gotten her sick with whatever plague that...
I think I started it.
Well,
yeah, you got me sick last week. I got my entire family sick this week.
let's hope the plague stays on the south side of the desk. Because I'm here on the north side by myself for you guys that are listening on the airs. Last week we said we were battlers. We're fighters because we were having camera problems. We were having cold problems with Luke.
That's right.
And we're all fighting through.
That's right.
I'm going to have an airborne after you guys leave.
That's right.
We're going to hope for the best. But what else happened this weekend? I guess we got the Seahawks and whatnot. The winter meetings are going on in baseball, and it's kind of a fun time. Things are ramping up again.
I never really know how much stock to put in those winter meetings. I mean, you understand the management of baseball better than I do, of course, country. But what's been your take? All I know is I want another arm for the Mariners, and I want another bat. But I think that's too generic. Everybody can say that.
Right. The winter meetings will be fun. I'd like to go down to it sometime. I don't know if you guys ever watch it on the MLB Network, but they have the whole show. There's fans there, and there's a lot of famous people down there actually right now, it looks like. But I don't know, it's interesting. There's some rules that are coming out from there that I thought was interesting. I believe they passed that you can't, if you bring a reliever in the game, he has to face three batter minimum.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't just get one guy out.
Nope. I would assume that is for pace of play.
I would assume that too.
Wow.
And that was kind of some big happenings. It's always interesting.
Yeah.
I think it messes with the pace of play, but I like the strategy of using just one pitcher in terms of, that's the coach really using his players the way he best feels. But again, every time you bring in a reliever, that's at least 5 minutes of switch.
I am one that I could sit at T-Mobile Park all day, and I don't need them to rush it, but I understand they need to sell more tickets than just me. Yeah. So that's probably the whole reason they're doing that. And I think the biggest surprise and the biggest signing of winter meetings isn't a surprise. We all figured Garrett Coles was going to the Yankees for a lot of money.
Years.
Gosh.
How old is he?
$324 million.
Is he close to is he 30?
I don't know. We're going to have to ask the Google here while we're talking about this.
That's
Strasburg, though.
Yeah. I'd take Strasburg over Garrett Coles. That's just my opinion.
Really?
Oh, I believe we're going to talk it on the Would You Rather. Are we going to bring up, you mentioned Josh Cox, are we going to bring up the question that he had for us at a little bit later?
Right.
Okay.
So 29 years old, and you're making $324 million. I'm 31. I'm not making that.
No. I'm just shy of that myself.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too bad.
I think we'll get there with one more sponsor.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
All we need is probably him. He could afford it. He'd be the one guy to talk about it. But I know it's hard to say that with it's storming. I know the pass is getting a foot of snow today outside, and we will get into some winter hoops scores here soon. But no, I'm excited to be sitting here recording again. I'm bummed that we didn't get it done earlier this week, but you know what? Life happens.
You know what? You talk about the wintertime and wintertime basketball, but of course, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the college bowl games start Saturday.
It's got to be coming up soon.
It's got to be coming up soon.
That's right.
So your beloved Cougs going to the Cheez-It Bowl, which is I'm not even trying to make a pun, but it's kind of a cheesy bowl name.
You'd rather have that
I wasn't
than-
even trying to make a pun. That's why I was pausing, because I was like, what can I say that's not stupid? But there we go. But a buddy of mine who is a diehard Coug fan, just like yourself, he said, because I was like, oh, you probably want to go to the Las Vegas Bowl. And he goes, no, I want to go farther south where the weather is better.
Warmer.
And the uniqueness of going there rather than Vegas appealed to him more. So, yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting, the whole matchup the Huskies have, where Chris
Yes.
Peterson's stepping down, facing his old team.
I feel like
Yeah.
that was kind of they pushed that.
I mean, why
matchup
wouldn't
a
you if
little
you're
bit,
Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sold so many more tickets just now.
Yeah.
Sorry, for
I
the
found,
noise.
I saw the irony there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm excited for that matchup. I don't think UW's going to lose that game. I think they're going to stomp or Boise State. But
you think so?
I think so. But again, it's Boise State, and they've made a living off of making things like that. But the person that made that
yeah.
identity is
Is
who's
now.
coaching against them.
Coach Pete. So here's the biggest thing that I want in all of that game is, I mean, I got nothing against Boise State, but I want the Huskies to win. But my biggest thing is, at what point of the game does Coach Pete figuratively and ceremoniously hand over the clipboard to
That'd be cool.
the new coach, Jimmy
Yeah,
Jimmy
Lane?
Lake.
Jimmy Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a made-for-TV moment, but,
Yeah.
that'd be a nice way to kind of go out. Kind of like pulling your starters from the last game on senior night as a way to ceremoniously. Man, I'm kind of reaching there, but there you go. That's how I thought.
Or is it going to be when he has a trophy and he goes like this, like he's holding it like Simba from The Lion King, gives it to Jimmy, and he holds it? I don't know. It'd be kind of fun
and then
to
he
watch.
just rides off into the sunset.
That's right.
Into his
Has
leadership
a
role or whatever he's going to
Bronco
do.
waiting for him to ride off on.
That's right.
Had him. The bowl game, the Cougs game, it's going to be interesting. Who knows how that's going to turn out? But Leach signed an extension. He's there for a bit longer, and that's exciting. And we got the air raid versus the ground and pound, so it'll be an interesting matchup. I unfortunately looked at plane tickets, and I cannot afford it. It was
Right.
very expensive to fly. I mean, it was going to be like $2,000 to get me, Paige and Ellie night down there.
Seriously.
It was expensive. There's no bargain, no bargain
No
shopping that time of the
Yeah.
year.
So what about, there's all the other bowl games, but then the top four. OSU, LSU, Clemson, and Oklahoma.
As far as I'm concerned, I guess who's Ohio State playing? They're
Ohio
playing
State
Oklahoma.
is playing Clemson,
Clemson?
and number one LSU is playing Oklahoma.
I'm
Right.
going
Yep.
Oklahoma. Wait, say that again.
LSU, Oklahoma.
Okay, LSU's going to win that game.
Yep, and then Ohio State versus Clemson.
Ohio State's going to lose.
Really?
You think Clemson's going to get them?
I hope so. I don't like Ohio State one bit. But yes, you're right. Oh, I mean, look at the coach they have. They've been there, done that. The guys returning have all done it, and his name slipped my mind, which is odd because he's such a good coach.
Are you talking about the Ohio State coach?
No, the Clemson coach,
Dabo Sweeney.
Sweeney. He's the man. I guess it'd be cool to play for that guy.
Yeah, he definitely. I don't know what he's like, obviously face to face, but he seems to have a very. He seems to be a very likable, genuine guy.
Right.
Do I know that? I don't know. But,
Probably is though.
Yeah.
Majority of the time. No, but I think if those two play LSU Clemson national title game, that would be the most spirited game, and the fact that those two guys get their teams rolling, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So Ohio State's pretty dang good though. They're tough.
I got nothing against Clemson, Ohio State, or Oklahoma, but I kind of want LSU.
Yeah.
They've always been, in my opinion, in the shadow of Alabama, and then even more recently Clemson. So, my pick is going to be LSU for all the marbles.
Yep. Who's your pick, Luke?
Yeah, I'd probably go with LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I'll go LSU, but I could see an Oklahoma victory with their quarterback they got now and their D coordinator, Mr.
All right.
Cringe. But I'm going LSU all the way, man. Go Tiger. And I don't say that often because I'm not a big SEC fan, and I've never been an LSU fan really. But yeah, we'll see.
How about another college football news? Bo Baldwin, Cal Poly.
Hey, that's
Oh, yeah, we
right.
gotta talk about
back
that.
in the FCS or the FCS, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see that. To be honest with you,
Cal offense coordinator for how long? A couple years?
at least 3-4.
He was there for 3 years,
Mhm.
And they struggled last year.
and I thought that he's such an offensive mind.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, Eastern was scoring like 40, 50 points a game when he was at the helm there.
Right.
Such a decorated career for Eastern, and the 1 year that he was our head coach here at Central. I mean, we went to the national quarterfinals, had 2 upsets on our way to get there, and my hat's off to him. I'm glad. I know he struggled in terms of the offense that the offensive output they had at Cal just wasn't Bo Baldwin-esque.
Right.
But Pac-12 is obviously different than Division II and FCS, but
Yeah.
maybe he's just one of those guys that will just rock it in FCS, and maybe that's
Where he needs to
home
be.
sweet home for him. But he's going to be in Southern California, so the amount of talent in Southern
Yeah.
California.
I don't see how he's not going to be successful there. And the guys that played for him here, that recruited him, they're kind of my era.
Right.
They loved him. They said he was a player's coach, man.
Yep.
And I know we were all kind of wondering, if Mike Leach leaves, is he going to be the next Cougar coach?
Well, I was kind of thinking, I'm wondering if, if when Leach there was, a public comment about him flirting with Ole Miss and Arkansas. I was like, oh, Bo Baldwin's got to be on the short list for Wazoo. I thought. I don't know.
I was wondering that too. But, good for him. Hopefully Cal Poly, the old Mustangs, can get back in that thing. And, I guess I kind of have a few teams I root for in that thing. We can another thing to talk about in that whole Big Sky is Central's going to play Montana the first game of the season there in Grizz Stadium.
Yeah, that's gonna be early.
It's an exciting trip for them.
So Luke, this is probably a shameless plug for you, but on the Daily Record today, your story, you made a good point when you were quoting Dennis, one of our guests from last month, or was it 6 weeks ago now?
Yeah,
the days are running together,
right.
but in terms of the way Central funds their program, and I just thought it shed quite a bit of light on just the amount of expense that it's going to cost, and so that Montana game, while it's on the road, it's probably going to be one of the coolest environments for Central to play. So make sure you're on that road trip.
Yeah. It's if I'm still here, for sure going to be going to that.
Yeah.
No
ESPN.
doubt. Yeah.
Just might be covering it for ESPN. You never know.
Yeah.
What's that?
Might be covering it from ESPN. You never know. Make sure you get there early enough for Kegs and Eggs, because that is a thing.
It is.
Although
it is.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kegs and Eggs on Frat Row, and although the fun interview I heard was someone goes, "What eggs?"
I might just go to the game. I won't cover it. I'm
Yeah,
just going
be
to
fun.
go
It's a fun place to go watch. Get there early and enjoy all the fun banter and everybody going around.
Let's remember, in 2008, we were literally a missed field goal away.
Oh, man.
Or no, they made the field goal as time expired to beat us.
That's the one cool thing that about Montana is those fans truly appreciate football, and
That's all they got.
That's all they got. That's their thing, man. But Coach Gage was the pitching coach at Central for a while, and he was the equipment manager for the football team when they were there that year. And he goes, the old guys in the front row are like, "Hey, Coach Gage, you sucked at Eastern Oregon and played baseball," and knew his baseball stats from him. They knew the equipment manager's stats. I mean, they're dedicated to their sports, and they know it's such a confined and intimate stadium, and the fact that everybody's right on top of you, and they've done their research. And they said that when they got off the bus, that the guy had to escort him to the locker room, so he took him up and around through the Hall of Fame, through all this other Montana stuff, and then the locker room door was literally right where they got off the bus. So like, oh yeah, well here's the locker room, go back in. But he wanted to take you through there. Well, after that, and then you have to drive through Kegs and Eggs to get to the stadium. Apparently, Central goes out there and just lays it all on the field and almost beats them, and Central leaves to a standing ovation. I mean, they do their best. They're going to intimidate you. They're going to show their pageantry of college football. But if you come there and you put it out, they sure appreciate it, and you'll leave to a standing ovation.
So when you talk about doing their research and making their heckling very specific, that reminds me of a guy that I used to know, or that I do know. When I did the PA announcing for Central football and Central basketball games, there was a group of guys, a group of athletes, led by our podcast leader, Mr. Eric Country Sorensen. And they had the roster, and they had research, so they knew, and they were never inappropriate. I just loved the fact I would be in awe. I'd be trying to pay attention to the game because I'm trying to call the game for the PA announcing, but I would hear like comments about their hometowns and maybe their family members, and I'm like, wow. And nothing was ever inappropriate. I mean, challenged, push the envelope, but nothing was ever like.
This is when.
4-letter words kind of thing, and F-bombs and stuff. And I was just you did your research as well.
You have to.
You probably researched more on opposing teams' rosters than you did maybe in Business 101. But
that's for sure.
It's a good time. I do miss that about college is just the constant fun that came with heckling.
Yeah.
So appropriate heckling.
No social media really either, right?
It was getting up there because I know that there was one guy that, I don't know if I should say the story, but we were going to take a cardboard cutout made of a guy's girlfriend and have her sit in the stands with us. But it turns out he never played, so we didn't even spend the money on that. But
That's
awesome.
That's intense.
that was back, like, I heard stories of, like, Mike Riley that, I can't remember, they're going to play, maybe not, it wasn't Mike Riley, but it was someone that was played for the Central Wildcats, and, like, this whole university would, Facebook, you used to be able to poke people on there.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And he had, like, thousands of people that poked him on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
I've heard that story. I'm not sure if it was the right name, but I've heard that story.
I got one story about what you just brought up before we get into the scoreboard.
Yes, sir.
But we would do our research, and we would have a program. We would sit when the visitors were warming up, we'd sit on the visitors' sideline, and we would, like you said, we were appropriate, but we'd chirp a little bit until one guy said something to us back. And then we'd be like, okay, you're it. And then we'd go back to our stands. And so the guy that was our guy, and we just watched him the entire game and commented.
Hounded him.
Had to let know how his hair was looking and make sure it stayed in place for him.
Yeah.
Well, we did it to Western Oregon, and I wish I could remember the guy's name, but he went off and he completely just dominated that night. And a friend of mine that played at Western Oregon, he said, man, why were you on him so bad? I was like, well, he kept, I don't know, just what we do.
Chirping back at you. Yeah.
The next year, that was his junior. Next year we come back. We knew that he was coming. We made signs, and it was like, I wish his name might have been like Cody or something. We walked to the door, go, Cody, are you here? He's like, hey guys. we rooted for him that day. Like, it was much love on the other side. If they played back with us, we played a lot of fun with that.
That's awesome.
You don't see that as much lately, but maybe the Central basketball program gets rolling. They're getting closer to getting back into it, and get those student and the baseball players there talking crap. So, well, let's move on. We're going to go on to the scoreboard after a quick message from our sponsor, Fitterers Furniture. They're in 4th and Main. Stop in and say hi. Tell them that Kittitas Valley Sports Talk sent you, and we'll be right back with this week's scoreboard.
Fitterers Furniture presents a poem for the season from Mr. Brad Fitterer.
Thank you. 'Twas the holiday season and all through the store, the staff was real busy with customers and more. There were couches and tables and lamps all around, with savings and prices the best in the town. But the reason I write this is simple, you see, to wish you the best from my staff and from me.
Thanking all of their customers.
Wait, I'm not done.
And wishing all of you the best for the holiday season.
I have more.
Quality furniture since 1896.
Hey, I spent a lot of time writing this.
Fitterers Furniture in Ellensburg.
All right, we're back with our scoreboard segment. Brought to you by Fitterers Furniture. Guys, you're getting some more games going on. Preseason games are happening right now. Yes.
You know, when we were off the air, we were talking about jersey numbers.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a second.
I feel terrible because literally right behind you guys is a picture of Pete Rose sliding into home in the All-Star game.
Mr. Baseball.
He's number 14.
He's number 14.
I should have known that.
That's our unique thing. Like, our podcast number has to correspond with the jersey number, and then we forget one of the most famous 14s.
Was he a Hall of Famer, though?
Sorry, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Yes, he is.
You know what? The whole gambling thing, honestly, that doesn't bother me.
Me either.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
He did not vote against his team. I'm sorry, my words aren't coming out right. He did not bet against his team ever. It was all for his team to win. I've given multiple speeches on this, and I think you are 100%. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
We'll just have a podcast episode about it.
You know what? That could be a social media question as we go into spring training. As we go into spring training, that'd be a good one.
So listeners, start thinking about your
pencil
opinion.
that one in.
We're going to put that down. I'm going to write that.
Or just tell us now.
Anyway, we were talking about the scoreboard. I had to interrupt you to talk about the jersey.
Well, and I can't believe we missed. It's literally right there on the wall above Muhammad Ali after he knocked out somebody. Was it Frazier?
That is
Sting like a butterfly, spring like a bee.
Sonny Liston.
That's right. That's a good time. Well, let's get to some scores. We got some basketball games happening. Cle Elum basketball. What do we got for them?
So, the Cle Elum girls, I'm pulling them up right here. They're 2-1. They just defeated Riverside Christian a few days ago. Lost to Chelan, but also beat Patero. So they're 2-1 on the season. Their next game, according to the World Wide Web here, is they take on Cascade here, where recording this on a Thursday, so they take on Cascade in about 45 minutes our time.
Oh.
So of course that game won't be done before we're done with this with the podcast recording. But the Cleveland boys team, pardon me, let me pull them up here.
How about Gary Frederick? Second season at Cleveland now.
That's right. Central
Gary
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That is a Central Hall of Famer.
We need
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
we need to get him on here.
That would be a
as
great
well.
interview. So if you listen to this, Gary, which I'm assuming you are, be ready. We're going to be calling you.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
That's
calling
right.
you.
So we have the Cleveland boys, the Warrior boys. They're 0-2 on the season. They've got losses to Chelan by that was by 7 points, and then they lost to Pateros by 3 points.
That was on the game winner, actually.
Very close games.
Yeah.
And that's Coach Terrell,
Yeah.
Right.
Coach Eric Terrell. Terrell, that
That
sounds
sounds
like
familiar.
Grace Terrell, who's on the Cleveland girls team.
There might be a little connection there, I'd assume.
Yeah.
There is. So that's what's going on over there in Cleveland.
Up north there.
And so the season is early or new, but girls are trending in the right direction, and boys need to get going.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll talk about Ellensburg basketball. They've had a couple tough ones for the boys, but the girls are rolling right now. I just before you guys talk about Ellensburg basketball, but how tough is that league going to be? That's got to be incredibly tough.
Yeah, I think so. I think Grandview and Sela lost a lot, but I think it's still going to be pretty competitive. But I think Ellensburg's, I think they're up top. I mean,
Yeah.
I see them winning league and making it to state.
I saw Zilla knocked off Sela this weekend, too.
Yeah.
Saw that too. And did you see Ephrata knocked off Prosser in Prosser?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so the boys. I don't really. I mean, I think it's going into the season. I figured Prosser would be one of the top teams. With I think Hayden Hicks is the best player in the conference. Maybe Noah Pepper. He's really good too. But Ellensburg boys are so. I mean, in the game the other night, the last minute, 5 of the guys on the court didn't play. Didn't see much varsity time at all last season, and they were right there with Grandview. But I think in a few years they got a lot of young guys, so I think the future is bright.
Right.
Yeah,
That's good.
And the girls' team's rolling right now. I believe they're undefeated.
yeah. That's why Grandview, and that's what I mentioned earlier is the Grandview and Sela girls lost some talent, but the Ellensburg girls brought the whole team back.
They're going to be rolling.
I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're going to be a March team. I think I think we'll see them in March.
Yeah,
They'll be heading
for
to
sure.
State championships.
They'll be heading to Yakima in Sundome.
Yep.
All right, and Kittitas basketball, the 4-0, right?
The girls are 4-0. I've been really it's been really exciting to see. They've was it 3 years ago they were 0 for the year. 2 years ago, they were building up and kind of were building again last year, and shoot, so far 4-0. They've won close ones. They've had blowouts, and then on Tuesday when they beat Liberty Christian at home, wasn't much offense in the first half, and then the Kittitas girls just poured it on in the second half. It was really cool to see because I was a little bit concerned about the offensive output, but defensively they seem to create a lot of problems, so that's good. Not a ton of height on the team, a lot of just overall good athletes, and so I just like to watch them play. One thing that I did notice, not on the boys team but on the girls team this year, it's pretty thin on the roster, but they're going to have, if I'm correct, 3 8th graders play.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4 8th graders play high school basketball. Maybe not varsity, but there's probably maybe 1, maybe 2 that will play. We'll save those names for later, but so that will be interesting to see. I mean, and then on the boys, they started out 0-2, but Tuesday's game against Liberty Christian was night and day different versus their first 2 games. So they got the dub where they jumped out really quickly and had a I think it was a 15-point lead, if I remember texting you guys. And then Liberty Christian made a heck of a run. And what's that cliche? We bent, but we didn't break. And
Absolutely.
3-point lead or 3-point win for the boys. And so both boys and girls are back at home on Friday. Girls tip off at 6, boys tip off at 7:30, and they're taking on Tri-Cities Prep. So that actually should be a pretty good test for both of them.
That'll be exciting. Good thing we got DVR.
That's right.
So DVR the rodeo.
Yeah, we'll be DVRing the rodeo and
turning our phones off so no one can tell us what happened.
Yeah. I had to turn off my phone the other night just so nobody would tell me. But if keeping with Kittitas, I know the Kittitas wrestling team has their first home meet on Wednesday next week. That would be, what would that be? The 18th.
Right.
So put that on your calendar as well.
That's right. We got some wrestling news coming up here in the next couple episodes, and exciting times, man. A lot of fun right now. Central basketball. Let's talk a little bit about that. I was there for the game against SPU on Thursday, and the girls won. Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the score was on that.
Yeah, I think they beat them pretty
good.
Good
win for
yeah,
us.
That was a great win for them. And then the boys, that was a tough one against Seattle.
Yep.
Seattle Pacific. I know it made one Elvin DeConing happy. I caught him at Johnny's in Kittitas and said, that's too bad. And he says, well, it's not really.
Yeah.
He's a Seattle Pacific alumni basketball player. So, but no, then the St. Martin's game on, oh man, I actually had that up I texted you guys. The picture had the iPad going with the game, the Central game, and they lost to St. Martin. They had that game won too. That was too bad. And you were at the girls' game that night.
I was, yeah. I didn't make it to the boys, but I went to the girls, and the girls had another pretty good, solid game. Second time they held an opponent under 30% shooting, and that's hard to
cool.
It's hard to lose. You don't lose when your opponent, you keep them under 30%, but unless you shoot worse. But I was kind of surprised with the boys losing, or the men losing to St. Martin's.
Yeah, me too.
St. Martin's was picked in the preseason poll means nothing, but they have a brand new coach, whole new lineup. And even though they were
on the road, so
yeah, they were the league champs last year. Well, Seattle Pacific actually beat them, but that was surprising. Did you go, Eric?
No, I ended up staying home watching the rodeo. I watched it on the iPad, that game against St. Martin's, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And that was too bad. I wish I could have went and saw that, but there was too much going on at home and needed to stay home and be dad.
That's right.
And I got to watch it on TV, and it looks like the boys play at home this Saturday against
Linfield, I believe.
Mulmouth.
Oh, wait, no.
Multnomah?
Yeah, them. Where are they from?
That's Oregon.
Okay.
Multnomah Falls. I'm assuming they're right in that neck of the woods. And then I'm not sure where I saw it, but is that the team that is averaging like 100 points a game, but they're also averaging giving up 110 or something?
They're like the air raid of basketball.
They are the air raid of basketball. That's a great analogy.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm going to say, how many fast breaks and dunks are we going to see? I mean, geez. I'm going to say the over-under on that is going to be 15 dunks.
Yeah.
Central basketball doesn't dunk that often.
No.
Which
I'm surprised. They got some dudes that can.
Matt Poquette that's the only guy I've seen.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
His footwork, I'm so pumped he's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
And looks like the boys are playing the early game on Saturday. From I'm going back and forth here, and the 14th they play at 5 p.m. against them, and then the 14th. Yeah. And so the women play Cal State LA at 7:15 that night.
Yeah.
Which a pitch to the Wildcat Club between games. There's food and drinks upstairs if you're a Wildcat Club or Alumni Association member. Which get there at between, because I went to halftime of the boys game there today, and it was pretty much picked over.
What kind of drinks?
Oh, there's beer.
Okay.
There's more beer, and then there's some.
All of a sudden, Luke is going to join the Wildcat.
Luke's going to be, and the articles will be a little bit less. Make sense.
Yeah,
yes.
A little bit interesting language.
Yeah, yep.
Short and sweet. We won. That's it.
I
had beer.
And there's also stuff for the kiddos there. There's water and pop, but it's fun to sport Central Athletics. And did we ever talk about? We haven't talked about the Central volleyball team. How'd they end up this year?
Well, they made the playoffs for the eighth straight year, but then they lost to. They played the number one team in the country,
right,
on their home court. So
that
undefeated number one at home. That's a tough mix.
And then Central, I guess, didn't have like two of their players. Two of them got hurt in practice.
Oh, no.
So
That's
it
too
was a clean sweep.
Dang it.
But 8th straight year they make the national tournament. So
That's pretty
says
dang
something.
impressive.
Yeah.
That's saying that Mario's got a heck of a
Yep.
program going there.
I would say that.
Yeah.
Well, get out and watch your local teams this week, and heck, go watch you could catch this college game and a high school game, no matter what you're going to miss between Central and local or high school teams playing here.
And then DVR the rodeo.
Absolutely. Speaking of rodeo, we will be right back. We're going to have another message. We have another sponsor for the rodeo segments, McGregor Company. We got a fun ad for them. It's very informative. If you're a farmer out there, listen to it and give them a call. And we'll be right back after this moment and this message with our rodeo segment to give our middle NFR update.
I'm Ian McGregor of the McGregor Company. There are so many decisions that are required to produce a successful crop. From selecting the right variety, rotation, nutrition, or crop protection, management is a full-time job. At the McGregor Company, we view our role as that of a partner. It's not about making a sale, it's about producing the best crop to help our customers succeed. What we earn here, we invest here, just as we have for more than 130 years. The McGregor Company, your partner for success.
Well, we're back with our rodeo segment brought to you by McGregor Company. And John, where are we at with the rodeo down in Vegas right now?
Well, I can tell you the rodeo's in Vegas, and you and I are in Ellensburg. That's the first problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Big Country Studios, and Ellensburg is God's country.
Right.
But I kind of wish we were at the Thomas and Mack.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun to be there right now, especially supporting our local guys down there.
That's right. Let's talk about that. Let's lead with the locals.
Right.
Riley and Brady Minor, team roping brothers extraordinaire. They had a controversial 5th round.
Yeah,
with that leg
I got
penalty.
An opinion for that later
They
on.
they had a bad 7th round with the no time, but the 6th round they won. 4.0 second steer, 4 second steer. They won 26,231. Got to go to the buckle presentation, which is really, really cool, where you get up there, talk about your families, and that's awesome. You know, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's really cool to watch. It's one of those, if you're going to go to you got to do the NFR at least once. You have to do at least once at the buckle presentation as well.
Right.
So put it on your bucket list. When we try to convince our wives to go down there with us next year, paid for by Kittitas Valley Sports Talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get another sponsor.
But
take the McGregor plane down there.
The Minor brothers have they won money in the first couple of rounds, and they are 3rd in the world standings going into tonight. Again, we're recording this on Thursday. They are 7th, correct me if I'm wrong, in the average. Actually, of course, I could pull that up if I needed to. But are they winning every single night? No, but nobody is. Right. They're winning money. They're still going to be a little bit of a factor in the average, and that's pretty important. And of course, another noble name, one of our guests, Sage Kimsey. That guy just seems to be. He's not invincible, and he's not perfect, but. I mean, the guy just seems to be almost next to unbeatable, as close as you can be. So I think mathematically, Boudreaux Campbell in 2nd place. He's 2nd in the world and 2nd in the average. I think mathematically he's 113,000 out of first place, and there's 145,000 more to win. So technically he has a chance, but my guess is my bet tonight is on Thursday here on the 8th round is Sage wraps it up.
Yeah.
Title number 6 in a row.
I'd like to see that guy play another sport because he has to be so athletic with how balanced he is riding the bull.
He played basketball in high school. Actually, he posted he's pretty good on social media. He posted a picture. Maybe it comes up every basketball season of him like going for a jump ball, and Sage is probably 5'9", 5'10", or whatever it is, and he's going up against a guy that looks like he's about 6'5", 6'6". So
that's funny.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's pretty athletic, and one of the things that I like to watch is just like the guys that come out of nowhere, or the guys that maybe surprise me. And so I'm not saying they came out of nowhere like they're not important or anything like that, but Tyler Waguespack, who 2-time world champion in bulldogging or steel wrestling, and he's coming. I mean, he's leading the average. He's just out of the top spot in the world standings, and shoot, that guy is just momentum. I mean, he's got the wind in the sails, and been really liking watching that. Clayton Bigelow is just dominating in bareback riding. He's won 3 in a row. He won on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tonight's Thursday. Who knows what he's going to do? Just barrel racing. Emily Miller, barrel racing rookie in terms of NFR rookie, and then she wins in the first 5 rounds. Wins 2 rounds,
amazing,
and she hasn't made a check in round 6 and 7, but I mean, she's still, I think it's 0.07 out of the lead in the average behind Ivy Conrado Sabins, and so. But you've been watching it as well. What have you been enjoying?
Man, I've been enjoying it. Actually, I haven't ever really gotten into bull riding ever. I've always kind of watched it, never been my thing, but I've enjoyed that this year. Boudreaux, I was kind of rooting for him. Of course, Sage Kimsey. He's fun to watch, but that's been fun to watch. The Minor brothers, of course, and the team roping, been a great one. This is not, it has to do with the actual rodeo, but something I've noticed, and there's been conversations throughout the Facebook world, how much better has Tough Hedeman gotten from day one?
Okay.
He's fun to listen to now.
He's a lot of people are like, hey, bring back Donnie Gay. I saw that. Maybe you and I were looking at I'm sure there's multiple threads and posts and stuff like that, but he does seem to have a little bit of a better command
more comfortable
in last night's round 6 than he did in last Thursday's round 1, and shoot, and I'd like to think that practice makes perfect. So hopefully we're better in episode 14 than we were in episode 1, and so maybe Hedeman will be better in round 8 than he was in round 1.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. No, it's been a lot of fun watching the last few nights, and my daughter's been using the excuse to stay up late at night because she wants to. Every time I tell her to go to bed, no, the bulls, and it's fun. I've been watching Tough Cooper, and if you guys need, not Tough Cooper, I'm sorry, our guest.
Tyson
Durfee. If you guys need some good motivation, get on Instagram, follow him, because daily there are messages from him talking about that stuff.
Yep. He had a difficult round on Wednesday night. Didn't win any money, but caught. It was I think he was 14 or 17 second, so obviously not in the money, but I believe he's second or third in the average. So I mean, that average pays out 67 grand. First place, and then all the way down to 8th place, which wins like 6, and so obviously you want to be on the top of that. But so even if you're not winning go round money, you can still win a ton of money.
Right. Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to bring up with the rodeo before we leave this is it was another conversation in the feed truck where we solved the world's problems, like I mentioned before. But the Minor incident the other night that was controversial. What do you think they would ever? And I totally am not for replay of the fact of like, when the times are stopped, but stuff like that. Why can't there be a judge up in the booth that says, no, they had the steer turned and they were tight at this time? Not, there's too much open.
I think there's human error, and I've talked with people. Well, I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but so both of the brothers, Riley and Brady, they were obviously upset with the decision, but they both also said, 1, it's a tough job. 2 is they can understand the what the judge was looking for.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously you want to win, and obviously they had him tied. They were facing, the ropes were tight and everything, but the judge didn't see it that way, and so. And they respected the decision. Did they agree with it? No, but they were like, I get it. I understand what the judge was looking for. So, but to your answer, there's human error, but let's also remember it doesn't bother anybody when you benefit from human error too.
Right.
So
there's perks to both sides of things.
Yeah, I think that if it negatively affects somebody got a positive effect out of it. So,
right.
So I don't want to see an extra judge or an extra replay. One, from a timeliness standpoint, but two is, human error is part of life,
right?
In all facets of life. So,
and if you have replay, it opens up the wormhole of what we're watching in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
and there's way too much replay going on.
Right.
Well, that wraps it up for this week.
That's right.
For this month, we'll come back next month, a once a month rodeo episode with McGregor Company being our sponsor, and I think next month we're going to have a rodeo board member with us talking about the fun new things.
Yeah,
that's going to happen here. So, with that, we'll take another quick break and be back with our last segment of Would You Rather, and we'll wrap things up. All right, fellas, let's wrap this thing up the right way with our opinion.
With our opinion.
Everybody's got to know our opinion. All right, we've been doing this fun, Would You Rather. We've put it out on Facebook, and we got some good responses. I was pretty excited about hearing that we had some.
Can we talk about those responses really quick? Trust me, the people who are interacting with us on social media, we talk about it. We really appreciate it, and I think that actually makes podcasts better because we're talking about people, we're talking about the same things that people like to talk about. So
absolutely,
keep the chatter coming, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well. Keep the chatter going.
Absolutely. We surely appreciate it. We love to know that you guys are listening, and your opinion matters. Please.
It does.
Maybe.
Yeah. Luke's kind of the salty one, so just talk to John. I'm just kidding. All right. So, let's see. The first one, we'll start off with this. Josh Cox, the guy we talked about earlier, that was
yes, sir,
local guy. He build your pitching staff, major league pitching staff, around Garrett Cole or Clayton Kershaw.
I'm going to start.
Okay.
My response to Coach, because he is my daughter Adeline's softball coach.
Mm-hmm.
My response to Coach was, I would rather build my team around the core group of arms that he has on his middle school softball teams.
Right.
But to answer the question, and no pressure, Coach, but we expect an undefeated season out of you. But
zero pressure.
But I'm going to say Kershaw.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Cole.
I'm saying Kershaw because Cole's like the...
Yeah, but age is a factor. Kershaw's he's not young. Mm-hmm. He's not getting the playoffs for some odd reason.
Yeah, that's a good
I don't know if that's the excuse, but he's not good.
See, Luke is throwing
me
all
and the
these
Yankees know what we're talking
facts
about.
at me.
Oh, geez.
Let's just go with emotion.
If he's a Yankees fan, he's out.
I'm not.
Okay.
Hey, we have to. Tanner Swanson's with the Yankees now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Here you
Roslyn native.
You're Roslyn native.
Yeah.
Here you got something coming up on him potentially.
Yeah.
What are you going with?
I'm going to... I don't know. I'm going to say Clayton Kershaw because he's loyal to his franchise.
Yeah.
He's starting to become a veteran. He looks like he has a work ethic.
Yep.
And Cole left when he got a big check. Do we blame him? No, that's a lot of money. But, and I guess consistency, and I'm going to probably get some flack for this. I'd say, yeah, he's sucked in the playoffs, but Kershaw's had a little more consistency throughout the whole year.
Right.
And every year, where Cole has good years on his contract years.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Way to stir the pot there by saying contract years. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Jeff Gay, would you rather watch your local hoops team run half-court offense or run and gun?
Run and gun.
Yeah, I think run and gun for me is more...
it's exciting.
Fan-friendly, exciting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't remember really what he said specifically, but he actually made a good point for the half court.
Oh.
And Jeff, I'm sorry, I'm gonna not do it justice. So I won't say what you said. Just so I won't try to stumble over what you said. But for what it's worth, you made a good argument.
That was probably a great argument. I'm gonna go run and gun, but can pull up and run an offense when needed.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good. Would you rather? Because it's both, which I do most of the time. But okay, let's move down the list here. Let's go Chad Johnson. Should the Cougs have enough depth recruiting or an offense, or should they concentrate defense, particularly DBs?
With Mike Leach at the helm, they will always be offensively oriented.
Mm-hmm.
They need to put some more emphasis on defense.
I agree with John. Yeah.
When you're scoring, do we even need to bring up the UCLA game? And there I just did. When you're scoring 60 points and you still lose, that's not good. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
defense is what they need to.
Yeah. What about against UW though?
What's that?
Against UW, their offense is
Well,
stagnant.
thanks for pouring salt in the wound, Luke. I
Thanks a
appreciate
lot,
it.
buddy. Appreciate you.
I'm wearing a Cougars jacket. But
Great book you guys should check out. Everybody, The System. It's about the behind the scenes. These guys have followed college programs for like throughout a couple of years, and it has all the dirt and scoop and drama that one could ever want. And his comment about Leach is that he's going to score 70 points or 71 points while he's going to let the other guy score 70. And that's just how the air raid works. But I think he needs to go after some defensive guys, because with how that offense works, you should be able to score if you have a smart quarterback and a couple of good receivers that are quick and a good running back. 3-star, they don't have to be 5-star running backs. They can prove that they can win with 3-star running backs in that system. Go spend some money on the old defense there and get a couple guys that can get.
Right.
All you need is a guy that can get you 2 more stops a game.
Yeah.
We would have won so many more games if you could have 2 more stops per game. Cole Canyer, Ellensburg AD. This kind of made me laugh a little bit how he worded this one. Would you rather ride a bull or wrestle an ornery steer? You have an experience with half of this, so we'll come back to you. Luke, what would you rather do?
All right, or wrestle a steer? Yeah,
A steer. The bulldogging. Steer wrestling, I guess.
I'd probably ride a bull.
Really?
Yeah. Because I can't let John go his whole life having that on me, and I never did it.
So what I just heard is Luke's riding in the.
I think I just heard that. I just heard that. Matt Webb, if you're listening, we've got a bucket list bull rider right here.
Oh,
I
heck.
need a sponsor though. So
Hey, we'll find something for you.
Yeah.
If we're gonna see that, heck yeah. How about you? You've done one. You regret it?
Well, I don't know if I call myself a bull rider. I jokingly called myself a bull rider the other day in front of my 2 daughters, and I got the biggest eye rolls in the world. But
your experience.
I'm experienced of eating dirt. Yeah. I would say I would kind of like to be a steer wrestler. Those are, big, tough guys. That's an incredibly close-knit group. I mean, I like watching them at NFR every night because they're just such best friends, it seems like. Right. Bull riding was, that gets all the attention. It's a great event, gets some great attention, some incredible athletes. We're talking about Sage Kempsey. Since I have failed twice as a bull rider because of that, I think I would roll with the steer wrestling.
Yeah, I'm going to go steer wrestling because the after effects after you get bucked off freak me out. So,
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Well, if the guy, bull turns around and has a pissed off attitude.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Was it the Wright brother seeing him get thrown into the chutes last night?
Stetson, man, he got thrown in there.
Yeah.
Didn't he break his jaw? Like just not long
He
ago,
broke his jaw, and his first rodeo back was Ellensburg. Wow. I think we got a rodeo fan here.
I think so.
You are one step away from trading that ball cap for a nice, we're talking about Stetson, right? So a nice Stetson hat.
Yeah.
But he got thrown into the chutes.
Yeah.
Do you see on the second night, Hunter Kier got trampled by the steer and his Hazer's horse?
No, I saw that. Oh, that had
My
hurt
goodness.
like heck. So I guess that just proved my point. What I wanted, you can get mangled in that. But. Well, episode 14's a wrap, fellas. Thank you for joining us again, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram
and YouTube.
We are on YouTube now, and if all goes well, the camera should still be recording. And the batteries haven't died on the second one because the first one just died.
So they can watch me cough instead of listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we didn't have I'm working on getting it up. We lost the footage of Luke having to leave like 5 times during the interview last week. But,
that was during the Wazoo linemen's.
Yeah,
he's
during
probably
Bob Bird. Why is this guy coughing in the background?
And leaving, yeah.
But we're surviving. We're going to make it through another week, and we look forward to next week with you guys. And thank you to our sponsor. Go see Fitterers Furniture. They're on 4th and Main. Go stop in and see what they got. Get yourself a gift card and find a nutcracker. And thanks to McGregor Company. And we're going to leave you with a little Austin Jenks, a little Ride Away. See if this works. We got a little empty. Thank you guys for another week. We'll be talking to you soon. Take care.
so big, this town's so small. If you circle the square, you've seen it all. There's no quick fix for a broken heart when everybody knows who you are. But I can help you start, just give me a call. If you wanna ride